of over 200 fighter planes
Ooh.
as a unified Nordic air defense force.
Wow.
This move is a historic first between these countries.
Hey guys, Loud Guys. Today we are going to watch Nordic Air Force F-35, F-16, F-18 and JAS39.
It's JAS.
So Nordic countries are Finland, Norway, Denmark and Sweden. And now we know that most of these, or I think so, all of these countries are part of NATO. And they are an alliance with USA to fight against like anything that happens to US and Europe. So we have to see like what capabilities do they have. Because normally what we think about Nordic countries is just, you know, beautiful countries.
Yes, snow, mountains.
Yeah, and they do not care about anything about army.
And they're like peaceful.
And you get the happiest index in the world and happiness index. And
I think it's Norway on the first rank.
these countries are always in top
Always,
10 and
yeah.
like always happy. Everything is nice. But when we get to know that okay, they also have an air force and they are also into these things, so it will be very
that is a bit
interesting to know.
shocking.
So let's watch this
Video.
Let's take a look at how 4 Nordic nations have established a unified air force and how these 4 fighters made this possible.
Oh, nice. They have made a pact that okay, we 4 will protect
On March
each other.
24th, the air forces
kind
of
of group.
Finland, Denmark, Sweden, and Norway announced an agreement to operate their combined forces of over 200 fighter planes as a unified Nordic air defense force.
Wow.
This move is a historic first between these countries and was ratified via a joint declaration of intent, or JDI, on March 16th at Ramstein Air Force Base in Germany. United States Air Force General James Hecker, who is also the head of NATO Air Command, was present for the signing. Today, we will take a look at what this means for the region, what fighter planes comprise this newly formed air force, and what each jet brings to the table in terms of operational capability.
And the best thing about these countries is they have a lot of money.
4 nations under one command carries with it the ultimate goal of being able to operate seamlessly together as one force. This newly formed air force rivals that of a large European nation in numbers, and command and control is to be established by developing a Nordic concept for combined
Nordic
air operations,
concept.
which will be based on an already known and established NATO methodology.
Oh wow.
It is important to point out that when this agreement was reached, Finland and Sweden were not yet part of NATO. However, on April 3rd, Finland became the 31st member of NATO, and as of this recording, Sweden is expected to formally become a member soon.
Wow.
So the question is, if all 4 nations are or will soon become part of NATO, why the need for a seemingly separate Nordic Air Force?
That's nice.
There are actually 4 reasons that have been cited in the document which was shared following the agreement. First, combining the Nordic Air Forces allows for integrated operations, planning, and execution. This makes sense since the operating environments and conditions are very similar in the 4 countries involved.
Very cool.
Secondly, the alliance allows for flexible and resilient air basing, meaning runways and maintenance facilities can be used by the partner nations more openly.
Because they are small nations,
Then
so they
there's
can
the third
use
factor. Shared situational awareness. It's hard to imagine, but prior to this agreement, each of the 4 nations had to conduct their intelligence assessments and tracking of aircraft independently. The new agreement creates a common contiguous defense zone that essentially covers the Baltic Sea.
Like we can
What's
use
that
yours.
And finally, the 4th
What
reason
I
stated is an
Radar,
allowance
I
for
think.
common air education, training, and exercises to be held, allowing crews to cross-train and mutually support each other's forces. Alright, now let's get into the aircraft specifics for each of the 4 nations involved.
What if they get into a
and
fight
what
with each other?
platform brings to the newly formed
I think that is
alliance.
not possible.
Starting with Norway,
Everything
who have
is
been
possible.
operating the Lockheed Martin F-16 Fighting Falcon up until 2022,
F-16s.
which has been replaced by the Lockheed Martin F-35A Lightning. Norway has over 50 F-35s and is one of the early adopters of the Lightning, having acquired their
50
first
F-35s.
all the way back in 2017. In
So
fact,
many.
Norway was the 4th country to acquire the Lightning after the United States, Israel, and Italy. The
Wow.
F-35 is without a doubt the most numerous and successful 5th-generation stealth fighter, with some 900 examples delivered and over 600,000
scary.
flight hours logged on the global fleet. Additionally, the Lightning has also won several high-profile fighter competitions, more on that later.
Fighter
As to what the Lightning
competitions.
brings to the table, we can start with sensor fusion and an airborne command node. Along with stealth or low observability, the F-35 was designed to integrate and leverage allied air assets and air defenses. This integration is so thorough that the F-35 has been often referred to as a quarterback in the sky, capable
Wow.
of directing assets and reading the enemy signals to plan its next moves. The F-35 also makes use of a distributed aperture system, or DAS, which
DAS.
provides 360-degree spherical situational awareness via cameras and sensors placed throughout the
Whoa.
aircraft.
This is
Additionally,
crazy.
the F-35's fleet is being upgraded to the Block 4 standard, which, among many things, include numerous improvements in computational power, avionics, new weapon options, and even a more powerful radar that can detect and track targets at much longer ranges than today.
Wow,
I've
there are
done an
50 of
entire
these.
video on the F-35's upgraded radar. I'll leave a link in the description below. Given the F-35's current and planned capabilities, along with its lowering per unit cost, we can begin to see why the Lightning has won virtually every fighter procurement competition it has entered, including those for Finland and
Oh.
Switzerland. Moving on to the next partner
Denmark.
in the Nordic Air Defense Agreement, Denmark, which currently operates over 40 F-16s with 27
Oh.
F-35s on order.
These countries
The
are so
F-16 Fighting
small.
Falcon or Viper is a 4th
50,
generation fighter
40.
which was initially designed as a day air
It's
superiority
like
fighter.
more than enough.
However,
More
throughout its
than
long
enough.
and storied career, the F-16 evolved into a true multi-role platform,
Wow.
implementing the first use of relaxed static stability or fly-by-wire flight control system. The F-16 is an agile aircraft and an excellent dogfighter. With over 4,500 examples built, the F-16 is the world's most numerous and combat-proven 4th generation fighter. Although the F-16 is a non-stealth platform, it features low operating costs, high reliability or mission-capable rates, and mission flexibility in both air-to-air and air-to-ground roles.
And this is
Denmark's
so
F-16
good. Like
is
if they have a
an
plane,
excellent placeholder as
like
an
one has a
aircraft.
plane like F-16 and the other has good plane which can fight good dog fights. So they can use it like, okay, we can use your plane and they can use their
Their
plane.
planes.
So these 4 countries coming together, and that too they have one of the best airplanes, and that too 40, 50s of them.
This is more than enough. I think they don't need this much.
Like India is now buying Rafale jets. So like before India did not have that kind of jets, and we also don't have these number of jets like each of them has.
Even
because
though they have like very less crime rates, I feel like.
yeah, so-
Still, but
it's not for the people inside.
no, but
Huh.
still they are good in every way. They
Yeah.
don't need this kind of thing, but still for the protection.
Because they have a lot of money. So
Money,
like
they
we I
have
know Finland and all these countries have a
Yeah.
lot of money from oil reserves and everything. So that is why they know how to protect themselves, and they know people like Russia can attack them, so they are ready.
Why Russia would attack them?
Russia can attack anybody.
F-35s
If you are
have
free,
already
Russia will attack
become
you.
operational. Next, we turn to Finland, who is currently operating some 50 FA-18Cs
40,
with
50,
64
everything.
F-35s on order. Like the F-16, the F-18
Wow.
or Hornet is a multi-role fighter. However, unlike the F-16, the Hornet was designed for carrier operations and features an arresting hook, folding wings, and landing gear specifically designed to operate off of carriers. Finland's Hornets are land-based, and while also a non-stealthy 4th generation fighter, the F-18 is a combat-proven platform with relatively high mission-capable rates.
Wow.
Moreover, since Finland shares a land border with Russia, Finnish Hornets have extensive experience flying near the
they have
border
the
and likely
border.
tracking Russian aircraft that are in proximity to their mutual border. Still, the Finnish Hornets are nearing the end of their service lives, which is one reason that Finland has placed the largest order for new F-35s of the 4 Nordic countries.
Largest
Oh.
order.
And last but certainly not least is Sweden, which finds
Sweden.
itself in a unique position. While
What?
Norway, Denmark, and Finland are all moving to the F-35, Sweden is opting for the latest version of the Gripen, the JAS39E. Aside from being an excellent aircraft, the
JAS.
Gripen is also designed and manufactured in Sweden.
Oh.
The Gripen is an extremely reliable, low-cost-to-operate, multi-role fighter designed specifically to operate in the harsh Nordic environment.
Self-manufactured. Wow.
Today, Sweden operates about 70
That's
of
why
their
it's
C&D
special.
models, which are powered by a Volvo RM12 engine, a licensed
Volvo engine.
version of the GE F404 engine, similar to those found in legacy Hornets, such as the ones operated by Finland. The vastly improved E model of the Gripen will be powered by a General Electric RM16, which is similar to the F414 engines found on the Super Hornet. The E version will also feature advanced avionics and electronic countermeasures, which should provide an offset to the Gripen airframe's 4th generation design. In terms of the Nordic
Very
Alliance,
interesting
the C&D
approach.
versions will likely be used in similar ways that the 4th generation F-16s and F-18s are used, while the E version of the Gripen will likely be deployed in roles that are more aligned to the F-35's tasking, providing advanced detection along with command and control capabilities in a fighter-sized airframe. The formation of a unified Nordic Air Force is a direct response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine last year. In terms of deterring and potentially combating Russian aggression, this significant agreement has the potential to benefit all parties involved.
Yeah.
While each Air Force brings unique capabilities to the table, they also share many similarities beyond their proximity. Collaborating would enhance the effectiveness and potency
Make
of air
them
defense
very
tasks
strong.
and aerial surveillance, as well as providing greater flexibility and unpredictability in war planning. In today's era of multifaceted aerial threats, ranging from traditional fixed-wing aircraft like fighters and bombers to low-altitude cruise missiles, swarms of drones, and even hypersonic weapons, pooling resources for air defense makes more sense than pursuing an independent approach. This holds true from both a strategic and economic standpoint,
Actually.
particularly when confronting a common enemy with a potentially larger force.
What an interesting video to watch. And I think so what these countries do is like they spend most of their money on fighter jets only, because like these are Nordic countries, so most of the time it is too snowy, too cold, and we know at that point of time like soldiers cannot move properly and tanks and all these things cannot move properly. So the only thing that can be worked upon in like harsh climates or in winter climates is the jets. So they are buying a lot of them, like 50, 40, 30. So like they know if there is some attack, then they can just go all out. And I like the Denmark's approach of making their own planes and trying something new.
Definitely, and they have, they have that threat of, Russia can attack on them because, and they are like so prepared with all the jets, and also I like all those coordination, like they are like living like a brothers, like all four brothers.
Actually, because their land is so small that if the plane just wants to do a flyby or do something, they can just cross the border. And because of all four have get together, they can protect each other. So I like this kind of thing. So what do you guys think about it? Do let us know in the comment section below. So do like, share and
Subscribe.
Bye.
Bye.